Why are so many Jamaicans ignorant of their own history? Why so much dunce people in my comment section? Oh my God, people, stop it.
No, ma'am. See, I am not just going to stand by and watch non-Black Jamaicans erase the Africanness from my culture. See, non-Black Jamaicans like to wave the motto out of many one people whenever they are trying to distract the rest of us from the systemic inequalities that exist in the country and that allows them to enjoy certain privileges. Let me just read a little of what I learned when I looked into this motto. Presenting Jamaica as a harmonious, multiracial, or even post-racial society is an exercise in nation branding, which initially served the process of decolonization and was also used to encourage foreign tourism and investment. The adoption of a national motto, flag, and anthem in 1962, a system of national heroes, and expressions of solidarity with Africa are some of the examples of nation branding at home. See, this motto was never intended to reflect reality. It was a practical exercise that was implemented to present Jamaica to the world as a racial paradise and encourage primarily white tourists to come. And as a non-Black Jamaican, you and your ancestors' interests were placed above the interests of the majority non-Black Jamaican. The British made sure of it around the time of independence. Let me read a little more. Economic power today is held mostly by browns and ethnic minorities, Chinese, Syrians, Lebanese. And there are also many foreign-owned businesses. Even when holding education and residence constant, dark-skinned men and women experience higher levels of economic discrimination and own fewer household items. While the top and middle tiers of the social pyramid have changed somewhat, the bottom has remained the same. Dark-skinned people engaged in low-paid, semi-skilled or unskilled work. The continuation of this color class hierarchy has been the result of differential treatment and disparate impact. In other words, while devoid of explicit racial content and often presented as offering equality of opportunity, these practices have exerted racial effects. They have helped to reproduce disadvantages for non-white or dark-skinned Jamaicans. Now, as a Jamaican who is not phenotypically Black, you are either unaware or deliberately ignoring the privileged position from which you speak. And to speak with such comfort and confidence in seeking to erase the Africanness of Jamaica's language, culture, and traditions. It has come to my attention that there are many Jamaicans who have no idea what racism is. Case in point, I made a response video to an Asian Jamaican and called him out for the disparaging tone in which he addressed the Black majority of Jamaicans. And a lot of Black Jamaicans came to his defense and called me racist for bringing attention to the idea of someone who is at the top of the racial hierarchy talking down to the people at the bottom. So let's get into a little bit of the history. From colonial times and post-independence, we have had a racial hierarchical structure that has not changed very much, if at all. We've had at the top people of European descent. We've had people of Middle Eastern descent. We've had people of Asian descent. We have people of who are light-skinned Afro-Jamaicans. And at the very bottom, we have dark-skinned Afro-Jamaicans. Are there dark-skinned Afro-Jamaicans who have moved up closer to the top of the racial hierarchy? Absolutely. There are some who have been able to either marry their way or buy their way due to their socioeconomic status into higher association, much closer proximity to the non-Black elite. And one of the reasons we see many upper class Afro-Jamaicans who are so steadfastly fighting against policies and against programs that would assist the lower class is because they know that the only thing keeping them in proximity to this top of the racial hierarchy is their wealth. Without this wealth, they would not be accepted into this position in the racial hierarchy. So that's one of the reasons why we see many elite Black Jamaicans who steadfastly fight against policies and programs that impact and that would support people at the lower end of the ladder, because they themselves, their position is not tenable. Without the money that they have, they would immediately lose proximity to these people in the racial hierarchy. From my position as a dark-skinned Afro-Jamaican, I do not benefit from this racial hierarchy. And since I don't have 2 shillings to rub together, I cannot buy my way into it either. You know whose interest it's in to call people like me racist? The people who benefit from the system. The people who benefit the most from this racial hierarchical structure. It is a benefit to them to make you feel like your oppression is coming from people like me, so that you take your eyes off them. But let me go back to a point that Jamaicans keep saying over and over again, which is, it's not about race, it's about economics. It's not about race, it's about education. It's not about race, it's about the government policies. Okay, let's say for a minute that it's not about race. What do you call it when the poorest, least educated person from Asia, from the Middle East, from Europe, from anywhere else in the world can come into your country, can get opportunities to set up a business and have access to economic activities that the dark-skinned people of that population do not have? What do you call it when people follow the advice to get themselves a skill, to get themselves educated, to get themselves upgraded, when people do all these things and graduate at the top of their class and then have to change their address so that they can even be granted an interview? What do you call it when your children are sent home from school because their hairstyle, the chiny bump, is too ruly, because the way that their hair grow out of their head is considered unkempt? But Jonathan can have his long ponytail and nobody has a problem with it. What do you call it when states of emergencies are only talked about in relations to communities like Tivoli Gardens, but never Jacks Hill or Norwood? What do you call it when there are only certain communities that are routinely targeted for police raids, when dark-skinned Jamaicans are routinely held behind bars for the slightest crimes, smoking a ganja spliff, stealing akis, and there are other communities who, even though police have information of crimes being committed, they dare not enter to raid or to look for anyone there, much less charge them with a crime? There are many reasons why we continue to deny that racism is embedded in everything in Jamaica. My theory is that people are afraid. People are afraid that if they admit it, then they cannot keep saying, "I just saw it go." If they admit it, then they will have to confront themselves. They will have to look within themselves and ask themselves why they are not doing anything about it. To acknowledge that racism exists is to acknowledge that we have been and still are and probably always will be at the bottom of this hierarchy. And that is something many of us are not willing to accept. If we accept that racism exists in Jamaica, then that means we can't go to places like the US and Canada and tell African Americans and tell black people there that they are lazy and that if they work harder, they can achieve something, because you were working hard in your country and you couldn't achieve anything because of racism, and that's why you migrated. To acknowledge racism in Jamaica means that you have to lose the illusion that you are better than other black people in the diaspora, in African countries, because you just are not. Because you are not immune to racism even in your black majority country. To acknowledge racism in a country like Jamaica is to acknowledge that this system of oppression is being held up by black people who look like you, by black people who have proximity to whiteness, by black people who want to maintain their socioeconomic status, and they are willing to help the rest of them to oppress you. And that is what some of you can't live with, and that's why you say it has nothing to do with race. And even though I always make reference to the elite and the non-black of Jamaica, the fact is that there are a few of them who recognize that race is an issue. There are a few of them who have gone out of their way to stand up and to speak up for the people at the bottom of the racial hierarchy. I'm talking about people like Carolyn Gomes, who started Jamaicans for Justice to fight for the rights of poor black Jamaicans. I'm talking about people like Diana Macaulay, who almost single-handedly is leading the charge to protect our forests, to protect our beaches, to preserve them for the use of black Jamaicans, and to ask the government why, to keep pressing the government for answers as to why they keep selling out our resources to white people. I'm even talking about the Chinese merchants who in their communities are the ones who send people to school, are the ones who support community events, are the ones who the whole community, even more than politicians, they turn to because they know that this person, every money they make, they give back some of it. Out of every dollar they give back something to their community because they recognize that they get support from the community make them who they are, and they give back to the community. I have seen that with my own eyes. So when you have people who come on the internet and call you fully dunce, you must know why you take that as a compliment. You must know why you feel that these are the people that you choose to support and not the ones who are in the communities and helping build their communities. It's important to these people who benefit from the system as it is to ensure that you feel that you and them have something in common, that you feel that they are on your side, when in reality, the only thing that you have in common with these people is that you both touch the $1,000 bill as it passed through the mesh grill. At the end of the day, what has taken place since 1962 is a very successful campaign for the minds of the majority, over 90% dark-skinned Jamaicans, to believe that race is not a problem, to ignore and disregard the very thing that is keeping them oppressed, that is keeping them poor. And the system is designed so that a few people will succeed. And as long as you see that there are black managers somewhere, that there are rich black people somewhere, that there are wealthy black people on your TV, then you think that you can be one of them. Meanwhile, you are working within a system that is designed so that you will not be that. And that's why over 50% of our university graduates leave every year, because they immediately recognize that this is a system that was not designed for their success. But y'all keep drinking the milk.
So I really never actually thought that racism exists in Jamaica, because most Jamaica will tell you Jamaica is, a place for everybody. I know that for the fact, because the way Jamaicans are, they are very loving people. That is one of the reasons why I wear a bracelet of Jamaica, just because of the way they are. They are Pan-Africanists. They love Africa, they love black people, they love all other people equally. But after hearing these guys and doing a little bit of research, actually, I had doubts, because what do you call a country that has majority of its people black, but the economic status of the country, or the economy of the country, is actually ruled and led by the minority white and Asians? What do you call a country where someone works hard because they told her or him to work hard in school so that they can better their lives, and they work hard in order to climb the social, economic ladder, but they cannot put their address of where they live or they come from on the CV or their resume when they are looking for a job? Hello guys, welcome back. This is Joel Mugisha. If you're not subscribed to this channel by this time, kindly do me a favor, subscribe, like the video, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified for more videos like this. Today we are actually looking at racism in Jamaica. And racism in Jamaica, guys, it started way back in the colonial time. Racism started way back during slavery, guys. And if you are a Jamaican, you would actually understand these terms better than I do. If you are black, stay back. If you are white, you are right. If you are brown, stick around. Does that ring a bell? Because if you're a Jamaican, indeed, that actually rings a bell. Jamaicans have actually learned from colonial masters that black ain't good. Black no good. And Jamaica today is like a segmented society. Those who live in the ghettos or the garrisons are actually treated a certain way from the rest of the population. And actually be wary, because the majority of the people who live in the garrisons and in the ghettos are the black Jamaicans. And sadly, guys, Jamaica has actually a systematic racism or classism. Call it as you want, actually, because those who actually live in the ghetto, if you don't have money or connection, you are not given first class treatment. Now, this is a problem because Jamaicans who are from the ghetto, they have to work twice as hard in order to get the things that other people get easier, or other communities, other races get easier. Well, as I've told you guys, another thing that is really sad in Jamaica is that people who live in the garrisons, in the ghettos, are actually afraid of putting the address on their CVs, on their resumes when they are doing job applications. You know, after working so hard for many years, buying into the system that told you you have to study very hard in order for you to climb the socio-economic ladder, in order for you to make it in life. And then you have to deal with being actually afraid to put an address on your resume because your job employer or your employer will not actually give you the opportunity when they see that you come from the garrisons, when you come from the ghettos. This is a very sad thing. Guys, we have seen in the US black people fighting for Black Lives Matter. But I think also in Jamaica, people should be fighting that ghetto lives matter, garrisons lives matter, because there is a systematic, or if you might call it a classism, racism that is going on in Jamaica. These are the things that actually I've discovered while doing my research. You are free to tell me otherwise in the comment section if you think that these are not true. But we have seen on the video from the Jamaican woman who was explaining what actually happens in Jamaica. Many graduates actually have to leave Jamaica and go look for opportunities abroad because they can't make it in their own country. You have things like the police addressing Jamaicans, black Jamaicans from the garrisons, "Hey boy." And then when they meet another person of a different color or of a different class, they address him as, "Excuse me, sir." You see actually the difference in how they value their people. And you might find that these are actually fellow, dark melanated skinned people, skinned policemen. So racism is something that actually is affecting many Jamaicans at home. This kind of racism actually has left so many young Jamaicans behind because of the way they are perceived. It is sad to see that in Jamaica you cannot get a job just because of the address of where you come from. It's like you are working hard to climb the socio-economic ladder, and there is somebody actually who tells you, "Wait a minute, where do you come from?" No. If you're from there, stay right there. This is actually very sad to see that Jamaicans have to go through this in their own country, in a country that has a majority dark melanated black people. But they don't have access to resources. Just like the lady has explained, someone will come from Asia today and tomorrow get opportunities that a Jamaican-born black man or black woman will never get opportunity to. So guys, what do you think about this issue about racism in Jamaica? What do you think about this case? What do you think about this issue? Is racism a big issue in Jamaica? Tell me in the comment section your thoughts, and also remember to subscribe, like the video, share, drop a comment, and as always guys, see you on the next episode.